to practice during the week. And as you can see here, this is the ideal setup. You have 3 chairs, 2 of which have these high backs, so they create a little frame within which you can practice balancing and that kind of thing. And then the third chair here, where we sit. When I pressed record, that little box jumped up on your screen, so you probably have to click the word "got it" and clear that out of the way. And I will mute, and we'll go. So again, we start both classes, the Monday and Friday class, similarly, because sitting in a chair is very valuable to attend to a few very important principles. So as we're sitting at this front edge, we can find Zhongjung, or central upright. So chin slightly down, crown lengthening up. Feel this central pillar going straight down through your middle and down through the chair and through your legs. So right now it's kind of like we're a tripod, 1 leg, 2 leg, and the chair is that third support. But we can feel this Zhongjung, or central upright, central pillar. And that all makes sense. And then what sort of is unique about Tai Chi, Taoism is the sort of mystic philosophy from ancient China that birthed Chinese medicine, Qigong, Tai Chi, Feng Shui, which is like how to arrange things in the flow, in harmony. So this understanding of sort of how all things have a way, have a flow, that's Taoism. And so what is unique about the view of the body and how to be with our bodies from the Taoist thought is, so central upright, everyone agrees, yeah, it's good to have a nice vertical pillar. Okay. But then right away they say, now you have to soften and relax and release as your means of finding stability. So what we're normally doing is holding our bodies, especially as we get older and feel less balanced, and maybe the eyesight is not improving, or the eyesight's getting worse, and so we're a little more cautious, and so that creates tension. And so then we end up walking around sort of stiffly in the body, and that makes us more likely to fall, makes us less adaptable. So right out of the gate, the Taoists say you want to age well, you want to move well in your later years, you want to, what should you train? So right away, it's the idea of don't hold the body, let go of the body. Now, if as you let go of your body, you lose your Zhongjung, you say, oh, I'm going to relax. Okay, kerplunk. Then you've broken the important combination. So first, it's do the appropriate work to find that central upright, Zhongjung, and then release and relax throughout the whole body. And what happens, and what you might even feel, is similar to, let's say there's a cup of water with sediment and soil and dirt in it, and then you leave it and you let it sit. It may take some time, but eventually all that has weight settles where? It settles down. It settles down and creates just sort of a stable bottom. So that's actually what happens, but in the Taoist view, it happens underneath us, underground. So you can start thinking of it being like, okay, I'm looking for stability. Where do I look? Don't look in the tension and grabbing. Relax. And at first it feels like less stability. But then as you settle into it and really release and let go and let your body settle and settle, and yet keep your upright integrity, you feel some result from that the Taoists call Qingling, which is lightness, nimbleness, agility, mobility, right? So then when my body's relaxed, now I can start moving freely. We do more of this stuff on the Friday class, the sort of Tai Chi movement. But if you've ever watched somebody perform Tai Chi and practice Tai Chi and they're good at it, there's this float. They're floating, they're moving with ease and yet very effectively. So that's what we need to set the stage for. So again, Zhongjang, central upright, Chunwan, which is softening and releasing and relaxing and letting things go down through the body. And then feeling that quality known as Qingling, the lightness, nimbleness, freedom of movement. Now, to assist with that, breathe in through the nose. Hold that breath, and then out through the mouth. And we're just going to do that a few times, just flowing in the nose and out the mouth. Fewer number of breaths, long, total, thorough breaths, right? Each breath an opportunity to practice this chunwan, this releasing, right? We're inhaling, there's an expansion, a sort of stretching you open. And with each exhale, it's an opportunity to melt, soften, release, settle. Let's do that 4 more breaths, just like that. And just notice the mind. The mind is easily distracted. And when the mind is distracted, it creates sort of a chaotic event throughout our entire system. So brain, nervous system, body, that network connection, we want that to be open, smooth, it goes out and back, unimpeded. So that's what meditation essentially is breathing in, breathing out, looking for places in your body that are sort of creating impediment, looking for spaces in your nervous system and anxiety or concern or emotional, right? And we're just smoothing that space, smoothing it. One of the visuals in the Taoist sort of poetic imagery is the space inside of bamboo. So we're cultivating that when we're sitting and meditating. We're just opening, relaxing and opening and allowing unimpeded flow, right? And that's not the experience most of us have in our lives, right? And so it's a worthy effort to cultivate that. And it has practical benefits, which we'll see. So, keeping that looseness and relaxed quality, slide your hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, lift your chest, lift your chin, and arch. And then do the opposite. Slide the hands forward past your knees, follow the chest, drop your head, round. We're going to do it again. Bring the hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back, look up, arch. And the opposite, rounding. By being relaxed and soft, we cultivate unimpeded movement. Arching and round. 2 more. And again, the size of the movement, not as important as this quality, this soft, loose, relaxed quality of movement. Because the tendency is to tense up, grab our body, and force it, but we're trying to unlearn that and train ease. Come back to neutral, right in the middle, and we go left hand forward, right hand back, turn the shoulders, turn the head to the right, and then switch. Turn, and switch. We just flow through rotational movement. The size of the movement, not as important, so try not to crank your body to try to get further. Instead, see, if I just stay soft, how far can I go? If I just stay relaxed, how far can I go? And then what you will find is that round after round, you increase your range and you cultivate ease of movement. So we want both of those. 1 more. And then back to center. Then we hang the arms loose and just softly lean to the right. Now, as you lean to your right, lift your left wrist right in front of you, kind of near your chest area. Elbow flares out. So we're just opening space here. And also the left foot is empty. So just kind of get this little puppet shape, little marionette shape, and then lean. So once again, we're trying to experience movement. And this is difficult for people with Parkinson's and difficult for people without Parkinson's and who are dealing with any number of issues or no issue at all, quote unquote, no issue, to learn how to move with ease like this. So it's kind of a fundamental miss that happens over lifetime because we don't think about, oh yeah, I'm a liquid body. Right? We think, oh, I gotta make a shape with effort. So Debbie, watch what I'm doing here. Or not Debbie, I'm sorry, Catherine. So notice that I'm not doing this and reaching over here. All I'm doing is this. I'm just floating it up right here and leaning. And so again, so it's that the movement, what they call the Shenfa, which is these body mechanism techniques, that we want to induce the correct mechanism. This mechanism is one of, from our middle, letting the spine and head and neck and shoulders be loose. So again, the size of the movement is not important, but the quality of, hey, look at that. I can just melt into movement. I can fall into movement. That's what it starts to feel like, is we're letting this sinking, falling quality happen. Because we're so afraid of falling that we tense up and then we move awkwardly. So relax and let that energy, that quality of softness pervade. Now, we're in the middle, and final sort of anatomical important thing here is that chest, arm plugs into shoulder, but the most important bit is when we can't see, it's the scapula, the shoulder blade. And so because we don't move that correctly, we hold a bunch of tension and that makes us top heavy and awkward. So we want to clear all that out. So shoulder blades go up and release down. Up and release down. So that's scapula elevation and depression. And then the other things the scapula do is they retract. So like you're cracking a walnut between your shoulder blades. Relax to neutral. And then they also protract. That's usually the awkward move. This shoulder blade coming around the side. Here's the arm plugging in, shoulder blade back there. And then relax to neutral. And then retract. Feel this area has to open. And relax to neutral. And then protract. So we need to clear out what's stuck here. And to do that even better, we go forward, protracting, up, retracting, down, under, protract, up, over top, down, back, forward, up, over top, back, down. Let's do that 3 more times. So when you get better and better at this movement, it's basically like you give yourself a very deep neck, shoulder, upper back massage. You're stretching and moving the tissue. You're squishing those places that are kind of stuck. One more. And then we go in the reverse, which can feel a little more awkward, but we go back, up, over top, forward, down, under, back, up, over top, forward, and down, under and back, up, over top, forward, down. 2 more. Back, up and over, down, back, up and over, down, and release and relax. Oops. Bend the elbows. Elbows flare out and up. loose hands, loose elbows, open chest, shoulder area. Notice that openness allows this movement to go, see how high my elbows are, and then down, and then around in front, touch the elbows together. The back has to really open for this movement. Down, out and up, and around in front. Just cleaning that out, and then we do elbows straight back behind, straight back, down, forward, possibly up, and then forward, down, and back, down and forward and up. We clean out that mechanism. Then we go elbows out, one above, one below, cross and hug, and open. So the Taoist view of what's making our bodies less functional is unused mechanisms. Kind of like if we don't floss our teeth in certain areas, it builds up plaque and then builds, that turns into tartar, right? A hardened plaque. And similarly in the body, it's a good way of thinking about why we want to have a practice. Go ahead, bring your elbows down, arms down, loose. A practice that goes systematically through every mechanism and polishes it out, just like we do when we floss our teeth, but the body's more complex than our teeth. So that's why we have to put a little more effort into it. Now scoot back and let's bring right knee up, heel in. So this mechanism of loading and then pushing, reload and set that foot down, switch, load, push, reload, down. 2 more each leg. Again, we're just taking the tissue just like you would maybe take a rag and wring it out. To clean it, we just want the mechanisms and the tissue involved to compress, to extend, to compress, unimpeded, loose, right? We're not tensing up to do this. We're just staying as relaxed as possible. Now, right leg extend, foot and ankle, point, flex, a few times. Same idea, it's just like flossing our teeth, the ankle in this direction. And then invert, evert, right? This little subtle movement that a lot of times the brain hasn't consciously done in a while, but then eventually we get it and it makes sense. And then we circle. And reverse circle. And down, switch. Left leg out, we do point and flex first. Couple of times. Then invert, tilt, evert, tilt, couple of times. And then circle, round, thorough movement. And reverse. And scoot forward. Front edge of your chair. Now another area that we need to floss, the deep hips and the rotational movement. So step your feet a little wider than hips, lift your toes off the floor. Now turn toes and knees in. So feel that closing, squeezing close of the groin area known as the quad. And then lift the toes and open that quad space. And then close. And open. Close. So we want the leg bone in the hip socket, which has rotatable parts, right? The knee doesn't have rotatable parts. That's why we don't go to the knee joint and start rotating it. That would not be healthy. But the hip does. It's built to turn internally and externally. A lot of times we don't do it, and so then there's plaque buildup, tension buildup, barnacle buildup, and that influences our ability to change weight, to move with agility and stability. Now we come back to neutral. From the same hip space, just hip hinge, bow, and sit upright, and lean back. Most important part of this one is that the legs don't move, and the spine doesn't round or arch. It's just the hip joint. hinging as far forward as you can go, sitting upright, tipping back from the hips, not from the lumbar spine or the thoracic spine or the neck, just from the hips. And notice you can execute this movement with softness. This doesn't require you to grip your body and force it. It's just like falling. You just fall through the movement. Like I said, at first when you relax, it feels like you don't have as much control of the body. So it feels kind of less stable. But over time, you find that's actually more stability, but you have to practice a bit. Now, let's bring the feet back a little so they're under the knees. Hips, we hinge. Arms loose. Notice here, if you can see me, my arms, shoulders, and head are in front of my ankle joint. If I achieve that, butt is behind the ankle, arms, shoulders, and head in front, and we just push up. Now you stand up. Right? So fold. Notice the butt goes behind, arms are loose. You fold at that hip joint, knees bend, sink the butt to your chair. So your goal is, can you stand up without using any grip-based force, known as Lee, tension-based strength, clumsy tension-based strength? Can you stand up by just melting forward, pouring yourself out of the chair, the weight goes down to the floor through your feet, and you just stand up like, easy. Shoulders are loose, arms are loose. You're not holding on and hoping to, cling yourself to stability. You relax. And the importance of that is that now you can just hip hinge and just fold and sink and sit back down. And again, you just fold and it's like falling up, right? You just pour yourself out of your chair, standing up. Right? Now, don't sit in your chair, but do the exact same movement. Hip hinge, sink, and use this movement to get down near the floor. So your fingers can maybe touch your shoes or touch the ground, like you could pick something up off the ground, and then just push through the floor and stand back tall. We'll do that a couple of times. Again, without Li, without tension-based strength, but with Sung, suppleness, loose quality, that you just melt. And so we're executing daily functional movement using only this soft strength, and that keeps the nervous system totally at ease. And I've watched this take people, because I do a lot of private work with Parkinson's folks, and I've watched it take people from being stuck in place to they relax and they find this, weight shift, step, and eventually that loose quality allows for all kinds of loose and movable function that when we're stuck, stiff, rigid, it doesn't work. So it's like a little cheat code. It's like a little key to say, if you can tell yourself to relax and let go of all these places that you're holding, functionality exists right underneath the surface there. So now, let's come over to this right side chair. Now you keep your chair where it is. I moved mine out of the way because I have limited space, but you keep your sitting chair where it is. You got your two chairs here. So come over to this side. And no hands if you can. So it's there if you need it, but no hands if you can. Now the first most important little practice here is from your middle. So let's all just take your hand and touch your belly button. So feel your belly button in the front. Take your other hand around and touch your lumbar spine in the back at about the same level. And then bring your mind to the place between those 2 points. So you got this in the front, lumbar in the back, and then that place in between. So see if you can sense a line going from navel through that middle all the way to the lumbar and back. So that is your middle. Now drop your hands and keep just a general idea that there's a middle in there. It's like the middle of a seesaw. Now, From that, from that middle, change your weight to your right leg. And then from that middle, change your weight to your left leg. So a lot of times people are stuck here with tension. And so then in order to get over to their right leg, they kind of lean and do all kinds of funny things, which rock the boat and eventually tip the boat over. Versus if you've got relaxed tissue and joints and you just move from your middle, it's a very small adjustment to go 100% zero. And then it's a small adjustment to go 100% zero. Let's do this a few more times because it's very important. It seems very innocuous, but it's the key. So as you now go over to your right leg, stay in your right leg and notice, are you jamming into your hip at all? Try to center the hip so you're not held there. And also, are you locking your knee? Can your knee do what mine is doing now? Just this little, I'm not bending it heavily. I'm just kind of letting it have bendability. So 100% is in the right, and I'm still going, okay, I'm relaxing. I'm not tensing up that leg. And then let's go over to this one. So we change, and the tendency is to lock in the knee and tense up. So can you practice letting the weight go through that leg? Having this bendability, this suppleness to your leg. And then we change. So that's this skill that eventually happens instantaneously. So that when I go down through this left leg, I'm also letting the knee bend. And it's boom, it's just straight through to the earth. And then straight through to the earth. Straight through to the earth. The other important thing is notice, if you can see, my feet are not leaving the ground. I'm not picking my foot up like that. I'm just changing this state of full empty and full empty. And also my zhongjung, my central upright, is perfectly intact. Perfectly intact. If I had a teacup on my head, it would not be spilling. Now, stay in your right leg. Left foot should be empty. Lift the heel and get to the tip of your shoe. So I'll turn sideways to make sure you can see it. You just get to the tip of your shoe and then put that heel back down. Change your weight to your left leg and get to the tip of your right shoe. So this is a great example of Chun Wan and Ching Ling. By making my right leg, the weight goes all the way down through it. This foot is now free as a bird, free as a cloud, right? And then I put the foot down and then change. If I can make this leg the mountain, the stable mountain, then this foot is as free as a cloud. It's free, right? And then we change. So now try to get that to flow, and eventually this is sort of instantaneous where as the weight goes down here, this can get to the tippy toe. So they're sort of right in time with each other. Let's just change and get to the tippy toe. So learning to safely commit 100 to create 0. And the 0 is that freedom of movement. So now we take it to the next level. If needed, place your hand on your chair. So we get to the tippy toe and disconnect this foot from the floor. So that's the real test. That's where you find out, were you really 0? And then put the foot down without any weight and then change. Get the 0 foot to a tiptoe and disconnect. Lower it down, still 0. Right, because we think it's a 0, but a lot of times there's still about 20% of our weight still. And then when we have to pick it up, we find, oh, we're pulling on the structure versus when it's really empty. Look at my body. It doesn't move. Nothing changes when this foot is empty and I lift it. So if I can get this correct, this is no problem. And the implications are you can walk forward, backward, up a stair, down a curve, whatever you need, if you can create this discernment. They call it separating empty and full in the practice of Tai Chi. So now hand on chair for sure, so that you can go all the way up. Because here we want to realize the leg doesn't go higher than this, right? This is as high as it functionally can. So go ahead and bring your empty leg all the way up. Bring your knee all the way up. Just hold it there for a moment. And notice, are you leaning back? Are you pulling? Or can you do what's called sitting the hip? Where you kind of deepen this crease. This leg, soft, relaxed, right? Loose, loose. And you're not tipping. You're just putting the weight down through your standing leg. Now lower that lifted leg down, touch the ground. Change your weight into it. Hand on chair for safety. Bring this knee all the way up. So we want to blaze the internal trail of full range of motion. And so when you use a support crutch like a chair or a countertop, you can really safely challenge and practice looseness, right? Foot is loose, knee is loose, hip loose. And then when the leg goes down, that's also really important. A lot of times we go boom and we get pulled down. So soften that leg long, land it empty from your middle pivot, change. Other leg, all the way up, all the way down, change. All the way up, all the way down, change. Middle pivot, Zhong Zheng, Chun Wan Ching Ling, Chun Wan Ching Ling. So don't fight the down. Down is what, softening down is what gives us that stability we were talking about at the beginning. Down. All right. Now, put your weight in, first, you got your chair to your right. Take a step back so the chair is just within reach. So it's there, but you're not right next to it. Put your weight in your left leg, and I'm just going to turn a little bit so you guys can see my angle. So my chair is in front of me and to my right. Put the weight in your left leg and put your right foot in front like so. Heel touching, foot is empty. Now, change the weight into your front leg and get to the tippy toe of your back foot. And then change back. Now, important part here is the primary direction is not forward and backward, it's still just down. So your foot is there, and then you just go, down. And your body moves forward all by itself. You don't have to force it. And the same thing going backwards, it's just down. Right? And that keeps all this, if you see me from the side, it keeps everything in correct relationship. The moment I start thinking, oh, forward, now I'm over my skis, or backward, I start falling backwards. So it's just down, down. And this is good news, by the way. It's good news that if you just think about down, then your mobility will be perfect. Now we go level 2 with this one. Fingertip on chair as needed, lift. All right, so what we want in this lift is all the weight's here, and this back leg from the hip crease. You're lifting a straight leg, bringing it down, shift, and then your back leg, you want to just bend the knee, toe touch, shift back. You want the weight to go down as you, from this hip, lift, lower, shift, and from this back leg, you just lift, down, shift, down. So as long as you get one leg taking care of that support, which we need, groundedness and support, then the rest of your body can be adaptable, free, and loose. And then finally, so this was level 2 of the exercise. Level 3, definitely will need the chair, I think, because we're going full range, down, shift, and then your back leg also forward and up to this full range, toe back, and shift. We go up, down, shift, forward and up, back without putting weight in it, shift, up, down, shift, forward and up, back, and shift. Feet together, we're going to switch sides, side step, shift over, that foot in. I'll turn a little bit so you can see the angles. Put the weight in your right leg, your left foot out in front. Level 1. This is the best one to practice. No hands, because your toe and heel don't leave the floor, but you're just practicing 100-0, 100-0, and learning that the way you get that is by releasing down, letting the joints and tissues not be gripped, but let them be spacious, soft, relaxed. And then remembering when you move forward and backward, it's really just down, down. So what we're looking for is right underneath us, right under our noses, right under our feet. Usually we're up here going, oh, I don't feel stable. And what we need to do is relax and find that ground. And eventually in Tai Chi, you never lose the ground. You're always in a soft, relaxed state. So you're just grounded and grounded. Level 2, when grounded through your back leg from this hip. Lift, lower, shift. Find the ground. Then the back leg should be free to just float up. Touch down, no weight. Shift. You find the grounded quality and you just go, oh, no problem. And then shift. If you find the grounded quality, you go, oh, that's no problem. It's not dangerous at all. And you can use the chair where needed. But prematurely, maybe I'm at 80% and then I try to pull this, it's going to force my body into some awkward movement versus if I really let it be empty. So it's this softening and it's this precision. Level 3, chair, so that you can go all the way up, down, shift. The weight's got to go down so that the emptiness of this leg allows it to come up and reach back and then shift. The weight going down allows this up, down, shift. The down allows the up. Because again, a lot of times we go up and we bring everything up instead of everything down. Liberates movement in all directions. Down. One more. Down. Right? The premature attempt at something is whenever you feel like you've gone, you try to do something and you lose your balance. Think, I did that too soon. I didn't pay attention enough to really being 100% grounded before trying whatever it was. So it's like a little bit of patience, and it's just right over this little threshold to find this quality we're talking about. Let's switch back over to this side. Now, set up exactly like we just were. So your weight goes into your left leg, right foot in front. Now, level 1 of this exercise, ideally no hands if you can. We shift, get to the tippy toe. Now, this foot being empty, step it and touch the heel to the ground. Shift. And then we go backwards. Shift into your back leg. Wait until this foot's really empty. Step it while it's still empty. And then shift. So no premature stepping. We shift, wait for it. Once it's empty, we step it. It's easy to step. And then we shift. Remember, primary direction, down. The down creates the freedom to step. The down. We just stay down. And how do we get down? Softening, relaxing, releasing, which at first feels less stable, but over time you come to learn you can trust that relaxed state. So this is level 1. Let's go level 2. Chair as needed. Lift, lower, shift. Now there's an obstacle on the ground. You got to pick your foot up, float it over. It's empty. It's relaxed. It finds the earth, still empty and relaxed, and then shift. Then your back foot, flamingo, down. And then we shift. Front leg needs to come forward a little, tuck, reach, and then shift. Front leg empty, lift, lower, shift. Step up and over an obstacle. Shift. Flamingo. Shift. Up, tuck, reach, shift. Lift, lower, shift. So that's level 2. Now level 3 most likely needs your chair. Maximum range, down. Here, now we do maximum range. So heel to butt, knee up, foot out. So it really trains this freedom of movement, and then shift, and then bring that knee forward and up. Then we reach back, shift, up, tuck, reach, shift, up. So again, your chair, if it's just out of reach when you are starting, then it should remain in reach as you do this full exercise. One more. The down creates the up. That's what you want to keep working on. The down creates the freedom and safety of this big movement. The down creates that. Down. Keeps me safe throughout that whole range. And down. We're going to do that on the other side. Get to where the chair is in front of you, to the left of you, and just out of reach. Put the weight in your right leg, left foot empty, put it in front. Ideally, this would be no hands. Shift, step, shift. The down, so down through your left leg. Right foot is empty, you step it. Down through your right leg. Shift, step, shift. Eventually, this just flows, where we just go, ah. From our middle pivot, we go one full, one empty, one full, one empty. And then we can move, and this is also how you can run and jog and move swiftly. But you have to discern full and empty and find the down. So here, hand on chair as needed for lift, lower, shift. This proves to you whether or not you're finding that emptiness. Shift, flamingo, down, up, tuck, reach, down, up, shift. It's loose, shoulders are loose, hands are loose, head and neck is loose. And the interesting thing about relaxing is it's a plumping of the body, or a dilation. It's a dilation. So when we relax, something goes down, but the rest of us actually kind of finds buoyancy. So even though we're relaxing, there's almost like they talk about in Tai Chi as if a string is suspending our head from heaven. So as I relax and let everything that's heavy go out, and then we're moving, it's kind of like you're floating along through movement. Now let's go level 3. This is where you need your chair for safety. We go up, down, shift, and then it's exaggerated. Heel to butt, knee up, foot out, lower that leg in front, shift, and then bring this leg forward and up, back. You got your chair there for safety. The down creates the up. The down. The down. One. And then the other really cool thing is as you start to rely on softness and feel confidence in this relaxed Tai Chi state, swiftness becomes available. Go ahead down. Efficiency. So if I tense up and try to move fast, it's clumsy, dangerous, it's injuring the body on a subtle way of thinking about nervous system and joint. But if I'm relaxed, it's like, oh, there's quickness and swiftness available through being grounded and loose. And so you'll see that in Tai Chi forms, this movement that's just spring loaded and live, but it isn't this hurrying up clumsiness that Parkinson's and non-Parkinson's people are doing all the time, this sort of clumsiness that gets them in trouble. So let's just really get with this program of shedding, relaxing, dropping. So let those arms hang, be loose. Now, move to the far left side of your space, right? So move all the way over here and then turn and face downrange. So you've got this runway in front of you and stand for a moment and just relax. You got your chairs on your left if you need them for safety. Put the weight into your right leg. Left foot out in front, empty. Now, shift, step, shift, step. Remember what direction is primary? Down. The down, if you get it right, the step is no problem because that foot is no longer needed for the stability we require. We do require stability. It's just where are we getting it from? And so Tai Chi is training us to get it from grounding through softness. Grounding through softness. And softness includes every joint because, again, the leg is built not to be a peg leg, like a pirate leg. It's built to be like a bed spring. So you got to be relaxed and let that leg act in its proper mechanism function. And then that gives us what we're looking for. Let's do it again, forwards and backwards. As you get better at this, you can just cruise. You just cruise forward, cruise backward, but the moment you try to add speed to the movement, notice, did you start tensing yourself? If you did, you just back it off a little and train that soft, loose, relaxed quality. And just try to work on just a nice casual walk. We're going to do this twice more, so get back to the starting place. And I just want to point out one thing. So we all know that when we walk, we don't walk like this, right? We walk contralateral. So that's when I'm stepping this foot, this arm ends up going forward. But why? Why is that the case? And so a way to think of it is your middle pivot. You have a pivot in your middle. That walking is rotation. It's like a twist. And so when I go here, I'm turning. So it's this turn. I'm exaggerating something right? So around the middle, this contralateral movement keeps us centered and balanced. Whereas if I were going like this would be some sort of awkward use and it would be throwing us off. So we're going to walk there and back a couple more times. And if you'd like, you can start to add this idea that from your middle pivot, you're just turning and allowing for this movement. But before we do that, let's do this little Qigong exercise that helps with that. So turn and face forward for a moment. Put your weight into your right leg. Swing your right arm forward, left arm back. And then swing. Swing. So now we're changing weight. And the empty foot has the arm forward. And we're finding this pivot point, this pivot place inside. Okay, So now we've found maybe a little quality of, oh, there's my middle. Your middle is where the leg change and the twist were all happening from the same single pivot. So now walking, see if you can just walk from that pivot point forward, backward. Because it's unnatural to walk and not allow for that swinging of the limbs. If they're not swinging, it means we're grabbing onto them with tension. And back. All righty. Now, from the starting place, let's turn face forward. Put the weight into your left leg, right leg empty, out, in, out, in. We're going to do that a few times. Important part here, this, remember the term, the quad, the quad. This is this inguinal crease, the groin area. So as the weight is over here and we're feet together, both quad are what we'll call closed. They're sort of pinched closed. Now you step your right foot, you want to let the quad on the right open rather than keeping it closed and pulling the body weight with it. So we want to stay over here in the left leg, right foot empty. So you see how I can move it fast? It's because I'm not bringing any weight with it. It's as free as this arm is free. Now put that foot out there. Right quad is open, left quad is closed. Now close the right quad, let the left quad open. So keep the foot on the ground, open the quad, rather than picking up the heel like that. Keep the heel down. So now shift this way. Weight goes into your left leg, right quad has to open, right heel stays down. And then shift. So we're looking to liberate this space here to find freedom of movement inside our own structure. Whereas when this is stuck and we're walking around, we feel less adaptable than when we have this interior space that we can change. This foot is empty. Now this foot is empty, right? We never left the ground. So we're opening up interior real estate, valuable real estate. Now stay in your right leg, left quad is open, bring left foot in, out. So we're doing the same thing we did with the right leg now with the other. So now we've got that freedom of movement. Now bring your feet together and change so that this leg full, this leg empty, change again. So this one helps us find this middle pivot and the down quality because there's no room to move left and right. So we're finding empty, empty, teacup, zhong, loose, chun-wan, right? Now the next time you're in your left leg, right foot is empty, step. Shift. Bring that empty foot in. Change. So the mantra, step without shifting, shift without stepping, meaning use that quad to get there. Step without shifting. So this foot comes in, but you don't immediately put weight into it. But you set it up and then shift without stepping. Step without shift. Shift without step. Step without shift. Shift. Step. Shift. Step in, step out. We go back. How's your cappuccino cup doing? Ideally, you get this feeling like, yeah, you could actually carry a pretty full teacup across the room on your head by moving from the middle in a smooth, relaxed way. Because there's not this herky-jerky, leaning, yanking the body around. It's just relaxed. Just easy. And then we're going to finish today doing one advanced Tai Chi movement. So this first Tai Chi practice that we work a lot of different moves on the Friday class. So I encourage you to show up for that. But have your feet somewhat wide apart, and we shift leg to leg just like we did a moment ago. But what we add is from this middle pivot, shift into your right leg, turn, and sweep your hands across. It's called the bear washing paws in the stream. So now we're sort of loaded up like a wind-up toy. We're wound up. This foot is empty. We're turned to the right. First thing is shift into the left leg. Then turn from your middle. Turn. That drags your hands across. And then you let the hands finish. They keep going. Now we're on this side. And we shift and turn, brush, and sweep. Continue doing that a couple times. Paying attention now to the hand position. So here, the palm is facing that way, and this palm is facing that way. So hands are in two different positions. We shift, we turn, we brush, and sweep. Then the hands turn, change shape, and then it's shift, turn, brush, sweep. So the tendency, and Catherine, this happened for you just then, was everything together. So you see, I'm going to exaggerate what it was. You see the stiffness here versus shift, turn, brush, and you got to let them go like elastic, getting to the end of the elastic, turn, and then it's shift, turn, brush, sweep. So why is this advanced Tai Chi? It's simple advanced Tai Chi. It's the simplest move you could do because it includes everything. So we go into this right leg, shift and turn. Now your left foot is empty. Bring it in. Keep it in. As you change your weight into your left leg, turn and sweep. So now my right leg is empty. Out. Hands stay over here. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Left foot is empty. It floats in. There's no weight in it. Now you change the weight into the left leg and turn from your middle, brush, and sweep. Right foot is empty. Step without shifting. Hands stay over here. So there's that dynamic tension, right? And then we let that dynamic tension resolve all the way through. Now there's a little dynamic tension here that brings the foot in. And then we shift and turn and brush and sweep, and right foot is empty so it can step. And then shift and turn, brush and sweep. Left foot is empty, steps in. Let's go back. Out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Right foot is empty, bring it in. Shift into the right leg, turn, brush, sweep. Left foot is empty, step it out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Right foot is empty, bring it in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Left foot is empty, step it out. Shift, turn, brush, and sweep. Right foot empty, bring it in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step out. And let's do that one more time, there and back. And again, eventually, it's the easiest thing in the world. But I think it's always interesting to note, because it's easy because eventually it's the most natural movement. When you let go of what's extra, this is just the way that the body functions. It's not something I'm forcing. It's something that I'm flowing with, right? So put the weight in your left leg, hands over to your left, right foot is empty, step out. And then just like water flowing in that direction. Let it get all the way over, left foot is empty, step it in. The water naturally goes where the water isn't, right? So this is empty, and then it just flows down through that left leg, and we brush and sweep. You step the right foot out. And then let's go back the way we came, out. So this is empty. Shifting, turning, brushing, sweeping, let it reach that end point, and right foot empty steps in. Shift and turn, brush and sweep. Step out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. The good news about Tai Chi is it's less than what we are doing when we first come to the practice. It's a dissolving. It's a relaxing. It's not nothing. It's not that we just stand here and do nothing. But usually we're making it harder than it needs to be. And so as we practice it more and more and more, we return to this flow, to this naturalness. And middle. And then come back to the middle of your space. And we finish with just a light self-massage just to reset the flow. Because again, if we think of the poetic imagery of rivers, streams, and reservoirs, then the potential of practicing one exercise like we've done or another exercise can create almost like eddies or little loops. And so at the end of a practice, you want to then reflush the plumbing. So that's kind of what this little finishing bit does. So hands together, rub your palms, then rub the back of one hand, rub the palms, back of other hand, palms. Then we go hua. Tai Chi massage is not penetrating deep with pressure, so light pressure, but semi-vigorous, right? So right along your groin area, we got genital area in the middle, the inguinal crease. On that inguinal crease, all the way down, all the way up, clearing that hua. And then we go hip flexors, front of the upper thigh, right? That bundle of tendons there. And then we come around to the back and we've got tail and lumbar. And then we, as if doing a squat, sit the butt back, sink. Sweep the hands down the outside of the legs around to the inside and stand all the way up, bringing the hands up to the navel. Let's do just that part again. From the lower back, we sit and sweep down the outside of the legs, around to the inside, up the inside of the legs, past the groin, and to the navel, to your belly button. One more time. Down the outside, around, up the inside, and to the navel. And then finally we go sweep, turn that arm, sweep. Turn that arm, sweep. Turn that arm, sweep. Sweep, 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 sweep. Switch, sweep, turn, sweep, turn, sweep, turn. Yang channels, yin channels, yang, yin. So that's that reset. And then we close, wings, roll, fold over top, settle to your navel, to your belly, and then seal the practice. One hand, other hand. And the Taoist bow to finish, representing that harmonizing of the polarities to find the middle. Thank you, everybody. Have a marvelous rest of your week. And if there are any questions, please feel free, or comments or anything.